Why do we get more colds and flu in the winter? By Ishel and Bella.
Hi, Jang. So, if you ever gotten sick, actually, no, I know you've gotten sick. You had COVID earlier, which is, I guess works out because you'll you'll have this information fresh in your head. So usually when you get sick, you develop some common symptoms such as a runny nose, a stuffy nose, overall discomfort in the nose. Maybe you develop a sneeze, which is really common with COVID, but in general colds, I think is also pretty common. Sometimes I don't get it, sometimes I do, but sneezes are a pretty common symptom. And we also have postnasal drip, which super irritating. It's mucus that doesn't come out the nostril, but comes out through the back tubes that go down your throat, and in general irritate your throat, causing you to develop coughs and sore throats. So, in general, a lot of these cold symptoms tend to appear and be rooted from your nose. But why is that? Have you ever wondered why your cold symptoms seem to appear from your nose and cause all other havoc? Well, let me tell you. When your body is first exposed to a pathogen or any sort of virus, it usually enters through your nose and your mouth. And these body parts are part of what we call the respiratory system, which is this beautiful, lovely diagram right here. But what we really want to focus on is this section right here, because this is what the first point of contact is for viruses that are trying to infect you and get you sick. So when the pathogen, let's go over here. When the pathogen enters your upper respiratory system, it goes in through your nostril, comes in here, and divides and multiplies. And when that happens, it can. Oh no! I'm a little nervous. Oh, okay. Well, one more, 3 times the charm. Oh no. Okay, there we go. So when that happens, and it divides and multiplies, here we have the good cells in your body that kind of maintain your bodily functions. It comes in, divides and multiplies, and starts killing your cells and impairing your cell function, which is something you don't want to happen, because when your cells are not functioning right, everything's just going to get messed up, and that's how you get the cold. So since your nose and your mouth are the first point of contact, it's also the first part of your body that is just the first part of your body that starts up the immunity defense when it detects some sort of virus coming in that's like foreign to the body, and it detects it's like multiplying, dividing, and trying to infect you. So these symptoms, the cold of a cold, which are like runny nose, sneezing, postnasal drip, are not necessarily a sign of what the virus is doing to you. Actually, it's not necessarily. It's not a sign. It's actually a sign of your immune system defending itself, which is pretty cool.
While they may be microscopic, one big component in stopping you from getting sick are extracellular vesicles, which are tiny lipid-bound sacs filled with fluid. In a new study conducted by Northeastern and Mass Eye and Ear, they tested what would happen if 3 different viruses entered your nose. They tested what would happen if 2 different rhinoviruses, the virus that causes most common colds, or a coronavirus tried to enter your system. They found that EVs, extracellular vesicles, were released when viruses were detected by TLR3, or toll-like receptor 3, in nasal epithelial cells. When TLR3 in the nasal epithelial cells detected either the rhinoviruses or coronavirus, they initiated a response which made the cells secrete a swarm of extracellular vesicles. EVs acted like undercover soldiers. They disguised themselves as host cells to viruses, which caused the viruses to attach to the EVs instead of infecting the nasal cells. The job of the extracellular vesicle is to move through mucus to surround and attack viruses. They try to get rid of the bacteria or virus before it attaches to your cells. It was also found that EVs transport antibacterial proteins from the front of the nose to the back, which prevents bacteria from infecting other cells, stopping further spread. Without these extracellular vesicles, you would get many infections which could lead to serious illnesses. Before this groundbreaking study, many people had some hypotheses as to why we get more sick in the winter. Many people believe that because we are inside more often, we are able to spread viruses more easily, as shown here. People also believe that because days are shorter, meaning there is less sun, that people are not getting enough vitamin D, which could make them more susceptible to infections.
So, though these theories are true to some extent, the largest contributor to people getting sick more often in the winter is the ambient temperature of your nasal cavity, which is right here. And if you recall from the previous diagram, the nasal cavity is, we can go over here. The nasal cavity is just this section right here that connects to your nose and is like kind of like behind your cheeks. So let's go over here. So since the nasal cavity is one of the closest parts of your body exposed to the outside environment, it's more sensitive to temperature changes. And I'm not really sure. Here we go. It's more sensitive to temperature changes. So in this new study, according to this new study, the nasal cavity is usually around 37 degrees Celsius. And during the study, they mimicked a drop in temperature of 5 degrees to 32 degrees Celsius, which is usually what you would experience in colder weather during the winter. They observed that this drop in temperature weakened the immune response to viruses. So why is that? The temperature change reduced the immune response to the nose, decreasing the quantity of extracellular vesicles that swarm the viruses, but also swarm the viruses. So our little friends here that keep us, alive and, in a good condition, are really affected by the drop in temperature, because not only are there less of them with this drop in temperature, but they also become weaker. The quality of these extracellular vesicles gets worse as the temperature drops. And the thing is, this reduced quality of extracellular vesicles can really help a virus like the regular cold thrive. And this is because thrive, where they can divide and cause an infection through your nasal cavity and then make you like overall pretty sick. And another rough part, which kind of creates a perfect storm for these viruses, rhinoviruses, which are, like Bella mentioned, a common cold, tend to thrive in low temperature environments and are able to replicate easier in colder temperatures. So when this happens and your extracellular vesicles, get weaker, there's less of them, these rhinoviruses can come in and then they can divide and multiply and create a perfect storm, making you sick. So the study concluded that cool temperatures in the winter have a really large influence on your immune response happening in your nose, which makes people more susceptible to viruses.
Because of this new research, there is hope to incorporate EVs in medicine as a way to prevent cold and flu. And while we do not have any special scientific credits, based on these findings, we have curated some recommendations for you in order to try and stay healthy. We suggest that when it is cold out, use either a scarf or a mask to cover your nose to keep the air warm and keep EVs functioning and protecting you. We also propose making a device similar to a nose plug that would pump warm air into your nose. Here is an example of what it would look like, as shown through Dune.
Thank you.